Hello, students. Can you all hear me? It was mute. I did not notice. Sorry. Okay, I'm Panama Amin. Well, I've been told that for the past 2 days, you have been attending online sessions on paper 3 and part A of paper 4. Paper 3 apparently is economics, and part A of paper B is current news, right? Okay. And what are the other papers you study apart from that? Accountancy, legal aptitude, business communication. Yeah, good. Now, I wouldn't be discussing any of those papers. I would be dealing with VIVA VOCE, that is part B of paper 4 of CSEET. Now, part A is current news and part B is VIVA VOCE. Then we have economics, then we have legal aptitude, then we have accountancy and stuff like that. So I would like one of you at least to answer or contemplate and tell me how are these subjects interrelated? Why is that a CS aspirant should be learning or understanding these topics? Understand you're not able to hear? Can't hear? No sound. Still not coming? Yeah, okay. Sorry, initial hitches, that's okay. More technical glitches or human glitches, that doesn't matter. What are they telling? Yeah, I would like to know if anybody can, any one of you can, or if all of you can type and tell me what is the interrelation between or amongst all these subjects, or what you'll be studying now. Legal aptitude, accountancy, economics, business communication, VIVA VOCE, current news. Are they interrelated or are they picked at random? They are interrelated, right? Or still you can, now can you hear? Yeah. They all are interrelated, fine. Apart from that, I'll just shift from your first set of subjects you study to you as professional. Just now I was talking to you and asking you questions about why should you be studying these subjects as a CS aspirant in the first batch, whatever you call. And then I jump to you, maybe a few years later when you're a professional, company secretary professional, right? Okay. What would you be doing as a company secretary? What would be your role? What would be your profile? Could anybody answer? To clear basics, okay. They are interrelated, very good. Okay. Anything else? What would be your job, a role or profile? Could anybody answer? See, I can keep on talking. I have no problem. I've been teaching for very many years and we teachers love to talk and I can continue to talk, but it does serve the purpose. It should be an interactive session. You just type the message. There's nothing like right answer, wrong answer. And we don't expect you to be giving a perfect answer at the beginning of your course. Okay, you'll be working as a company secretary. Wonderful. My question is, what would you be doing? Okay, I'm a teacher. Yes, fine. What would I be doing? Would I be only teaching? No, I'd be setting question paper. I'll be evaluating the paper. I'll be mentoring the students, lot many things, right? So what is that? Okay, kind of advisor to the company too. Very good. Kamaldeep. Yes? Any other answer? What kind of advisor? What do you advise the company on? Is it why you study legal aptitude? Is that why you study this paper, legal aptitude? Yes. Okay, fine. Why should you study economics? Narmada, assisting company relating legal affairs. Okay, good. Now I moved from legal aptitude to economics. Why should you be studying economics? Do you also be advising them on finance and economy and stuff like that? Okay. Please be interactive. See, you're students. Nobody expects you to be experts. right? Nobody is expecting a perfect answer. If you give a perfect answer, it's good. If you don't give, absolutely fine. But just don't sit and watch like how you're watching a TV program. It doesn't make sense. I'm looking at, expecting some more answers to come here. Okay, fine. You need some more time? That's fine. Okay. Now, you also have a paper called business communication. That means that you will have to communicate well, and then you will be writing a lot many business related letters and documents. You'll be writing a lot many business related letters and documents. You would be looking into documentation. You would be looking into report writing, preparing report, research, and stuff like that. And in business communication, you won't be talking only about letter writing and report writing. You also must learn to communicate well. Since the time you started attending school, play school, or the regular kindergarten, maybe at the age of 6, you have been writing. You have been writing and writing, and you will be writing till the last exam of your CS and whatever the course, parallel courses which you are studying. But you should remember that we'll not continue to write exams all our lives. We write exams all these years so that we learn to implement that in future when we become professionals. Even I was writing exams till my MA, MPhil, whatever it is, whatever I've studied. After that, I stopped writing exams. I started implementing or practicing what I studied in college. That doesn't mean that every day I come and give a definition not to people around me, to my family members or to my colleagues, saying what is microeconomics, what is the difference between debit and credit and stuff like that. The knowledge has to be expressed well. And knowledge has to be expressed well, and you should have the ability to understand the present scenario and a link to what you studied during your course. When you have that ability, you become perfect professionals. Now, you will be studying a lot about legal aptitude. Then you understand economics and current news and all those things. What is current news today would be some sort of history 3, 4, 5 years later, right? You may have to remember certain things. You need not remember everything. But understanding how to analyze the current news or how to assimilate the news or how to express will help you to do it well later when you become a professional. Similarly, business communication, you learn how to write letters, you learn how to prepare reports, you learn to speak, pass the examination and start implementing that in your profession, right? So every subject, what you study in economics will have to be expressed well with the help of what you studied in business communication class, as simple as that. Or what you studied in legal aptitude class will have to be presented well in a very formal and technical language, which you learn in business communication, right? Okay. Now, paper 4 has part B, which has VIVA VOCE. All of you know VIVA VOCE is something like, okay, to put in very simple language, if you go back to your school days, your kindergarten and first year classes, you used to have something called oral test. Do you remember that? Oral test, oral exam? Yeah. You used to have oral tests in the lower classes because you're not yet ready to write. And you also had to learn how to speak. As you went to higher classes, as you graduated further, somewhere the art of speaking was lost. Art of memorizing the poem or phrase or a story was lost. And you're too busy writing exams. Our life is not only about writing. It ends someday, or at least it becomes less in consumption of our time. It's more about speaking. How do you present yourself? How do you talk to people? How do you greet people? If I tell you, okay, one of you please introduce yourself to me, how would you introduce? If I asked one of you, please introduce, and this is one of the most common questions which is asked at the interview. There are very many people who say, myself, okay, if I say myself, Pannamma MN, and it's a very commonly used, but it's wrong. Again, if I say my name is Pannamma MN, it looks very, very, kiddish. There's a way to speak. Then I say, I'm Pannamma MN, this. It may be boring. You're not interested. And my introduction may go for about 15 minutes, which the interviewer is bored with. He's not interested in where I studied. He's not interested in what marks I scored. He's just interested in what is that ability I have, which should match the profile which I'll be getting if at all I'm selected in the job. So I should be smart enough to introduce myself as a person who is an embodiment of all those skills, all those capacities, right? That's one part. The second is if and when you're selected and you start working, like somebody mentioned here, you would be an advisor. You could be a legal advisor, or you could be, advisor in various aspects. So to be an advisor, there is an art of talking. There's an art of presenting yourself. There's art or the way you use certain technical terms and make it very professional. So you need to learn. You may be a part of a group discussion where you have to take a good or important decision which favors your organization. Or you may be a part of some negotiation which is very, very important for the organization, where you're expected to do well and get the deal for the organization. So these things just don't come very easily. You cannot say, okay, I can do it. Because what we speak now, especially the present generation, I'm not saying because I'm very old, but I deal with students every day. I know the kind of language the present generation speak. Grammatically, it will not be appropriate. A sentence will have about 1 or 2 dude and about 3, 4 like. And then, it's not the professional way of speaking. So you must learn the art of speaking very professionally, right? So you need to greet people. You need to introduce yourself professionally. You need to advise your company. You need to be a part of a negotiation where you cannot be speaking slang English or very casual English. So all these things are discussed or understood, or I would rather put it as practiced, because I don't believe, I'm a teacher, I've been a teacher. I don't believe that something can be learned by somebody teaching it to you. I don't even believe that you can learn something by learning, the concept of learning. I believe everything can be, learned or passed on by facilitating it, right? So VIVA VOCE is about facilitating you all with the art of, or the science of, communicating well. So in the syllabus, it's for 30 marks. In the syllabus, there are 3 components, 3 units. One is the vocabulary and monologue and dialogue and all those things, where you talk about listening skills. The second is written skills or writing skills. The third is speaking skills. Are these 3 important for us? Yes. Should we learn to speak well? All of us think, including myself. I may be thinking that I'm speaking very well, but you may have lots of problems with my way of speaking. To speak well, we must learn to listen well. How did you learn your mother tongue? By listening. Nobody taught you with a board and piece of chalk. So first we need to learn to listen, and then we need to learn to speak, and then we need to learn to write. So in this part B of paper 4, you and I would be discussing on how to listen to. Please don't be under a complacency saying that you people know to listen to. No, you don't know, and even I don't know how to listen, because most of the time when we hear something, we think we are listening. There are different types of listening. There's active listening, there's selective listening, there's passive listening, attentive listening, critical listening, lot many. So we need to understand different types of listening. And when we become professionals, we need to, make it a habit to become attentive listeners. For me to facilitate your listening skills, I'll be having some activities or conducting some activities where you would be made to listen to monologues and dialogues. I presume all of you know what a monologue or a dialogue is. What's a dialogue? If you are movie buffs or if you are watching some shows, any conversation between 2 people is a dialogue. Now what I'm doing is monologue because only I'm talking, right? If I turn to my right and talk to a person sitting next to me, it becomes a dialogue if he or she replies. So there's an art of listening to a monologue and comprehending. And there's another art of listening to a dialogue and then comprehending and presenting it. So I'll be facilitating you on that. And then you need to learn many new words. If you sit back for a minute and then try to recollect the number of new words you learned in the past 6 months or 7 months or say 1 year. Okay, tell me, what are the new terms you picked up or you learned or started using since last December, since the pandemic set in? Were we ever using this word COVID-19 earlier? Or did we use the term lockdown very often, sanitization very often, physical distancing, social distancing? We never used. The words existed, but we hardly paid attention to that. We hardly used that. Now with pandemic, we have so many words which are using. These become technical terms after some time. I may refer to it as coronavirus, but if you are a slightly better informed than I am, you would use COVID-19. And you know, coronavirus is different from COVID-19. And then something came up called nCovid. So somebody knows that COVID-19 is different from nCovid. And now when we have medications, again, there are various terms to be learned, right? So over a period of time, we must learn the vocabulary which is appropriate to the situation. As of now, the situation is that of pandemic and lockdown and stuff like that. Online class, Zoom platform, online test, many things. So when you become a professional, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become an advocate, you become a teacher, you become a science teacher, you become a commerce teacher, you become a housewife, husband, whatever it is. Each profession, each job has its own technical terms, which we must master. So on listening skills, we also have a section where we improve our vocabulary. We understand different meanings of a particular term. And there are different types of meanings. One is the connotative meaning, the other is the denotative meaning, which we'll be discussing at length later, right? So you master all this, listening to monologue, creating your monologue, having a dialogue, listening to dialogue, answering those questions, right? Enhancing your vocabulary and knowing a bit of grammar. You would be learning grammar extensively in your business communication session. However, here in this part B of paper 4, where we'll be discussing VIVA VOCE, we will be stressing on basic grammar, which is to be known by all of us if we have to hold a simple conversation or a communication. And then after that, we have speaking skills. How do we speak? The way you speak to your mother is entirely different from the way you speak to your lady next door, a neighbor. Why is it different? Both are ladies. Maybe she's your mother's friend, almost the same age. Everything else is identical, the culture, the background, the practices, etc. However, when you meet a friend of your mother or neighbor, would you be talking to that person exactly the way you speak to your mother? No. Why? Yeah, that is what you call culture. That's a requirement. There is a situation, there are certain terms, there's certain body languages, there's certain choice of words, which may, forget about language, of course, it is very obvious. We have to use or we have to practice, learn in order to ensure that we communicate well. So we also learn the art of speaking. I know you and I know to speak, but I'm talking about professional speaking. Then again, we have something called writing skills. You have been writing since the age of 6? Yes, okay. Now you're more into typing, but anyway, you write. And if you have been writing, I'm very sure you're also familiar with writing essays, writing paragraphs. Have you all done that? Okay. Could you tell me how a paragraph is written? What are the points to be remembered? Or to put it in simple term, are there any rules to be followed when you have to write a paragraph? Yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, so, a few of the new words which you forgot. I forgot to mention: mask, quarantine, distance, maintain. Okay, yeah. What are the rules to be followed when you write a paragraph? Is there any rule, or you just write a paragraph? Yes, what is it? Could one of you mention? Will Murugan Rajendran? It's nice, some of you are communicative, some of you aren't. Okay, in a paragraph you give introduction. I'm not talking about essay, I'm asking about paragraph. We'll go to essay later. Introduction, formal, okay. So when you write a paragraph, I mean, of course, we'll be discussing all this at length later, but when you write a paragraph, you should remember that a paragraph should have only one point. A paragraph is built around one point. You cannot include two different topics or two different points in one paragraph. And when you move to the second paragraph, the next paragraph, the first paragraph should actually gradually take you to the next paragraph, right? And sometimes a paragraph may run up to 1 page or 1.5 page, one single paragraph. And there are times when you have only one sentence as a paragraph. So you don't decide the paragraph by its size, by its length, or by the number of words. You decide the essence of a paragraph by the point or by the topic you have discussed. So when you build on these paragraphs to convey a message, it becomes an essay. And then, of course, you have short notes. You have studied short notes. And I'm sure you also have studied précis writing. Précis writing, when you shorten a given, it's not like the abstract. It is slightly different. There's a particular rule which you have to follow when you do précis writing, right? You end up counting the number of words too. It sounds very primitive, but that's how it is done. And then again, we have something called note making and note taking. They sound identical, but they're slightly different. Note making and note taking. Say, for example, you're already employed, and then your boss, your director, you'll be hobnobbing with the directors of the company. You'll be hobnobbing with the president or the vice president of the company, the CEO of the company, and whatnot. So they would have given you a huge report, a very lengthy report, and then ask you to press it or condense it or just give the gist of it. So you have to get into this habit of, or cultivate this, or learn the skill of note-taking and note-making. You read a very lengthy report, it could be a research report. You read and you start making notes. You start writing down the gist of a paragraph or write down the technical terms there. That is called note making. So it could be something running up to 100 pages, and you've condensed it to something like 8 to 10 pages. That's an art. Not everybody. It's not like you keep on deleting something and okay, say this is it. No, it has to make a lot of sense. Here, even the art of précis writing helps here, because in précis writing, there's a rule which says that there are certain words or phrases which should never change, should not give your opinion. So when you condense a report to something shorter, you have no right to give your opinion. You have no right to disagree with the recommendation of the report, however much you hate it. So the small little rules you have to, because you will be dealing with the important papers of the company, and you have no right to be subjective. What is being subjective? Imposing your ideas or giving it a color of your thought, not allowed. Then note taking. You attend a meeting which runs to about 2-3 hours, or you go and attend a seminar or a symposium or kind of a conference, and you need to record everything. I mean, record in the sense not with your recorder mentally. So there you get into this practice of note taking. You just listen to that person and quickly you write maybe the side headings or important terms, which you come back home or go to the office, and then you develop on what was mentioned or what was discussed in the conference. That's called note taking. So we would be discussing all this at length when we have our sessions on. Meanwhile, I think I don't know much, but anyway, you continue to listen to this, the YouTube online classes, or I think they have many sessions on Ekcel Academy's channel. Keep watching. I think you also have a link if in case you want to get in touch with some of the people there, or the person who is in charge of attending to students and their needs, or if you are planning to enroll for CSEET, and then if you want to make the most of this academy, which has been, I think they have already trained about 4 or 5 batches. I'm not very sure about it. So if you want to have the benefit of those students who have enrolled with this, you can just click on the link which is given there, and then you can get in touch with people, or you can get your doubts clarified. So till then, I mean, I just have a look at the chat, some of the queries if you have sent, or I can give you a few minutes where you can ask, I mean, some queries I could answer. Consolidating the important points. Okay, note making, joining the main points. Okay, proceed. Noting is writing key point for reference. Okay. If you have any queries, or if you feel what I explained was not clear enough, you could get it clarified now. I don't want it to be a very lengthy session because it doesn't make sense repeating the same. I've already filled this form but didn't get any feedback. Okay, I just put it across to concerned person. Somebody did not get any information, I believe. We'll get in touch. Yeah, I have informed that person. Yeah. Anything else? Feel free to get it clarified. Yeah, most importantly, once when we start the regular class, VIVA VOCE, with all these 3 units being covered, and the facilitation, I told you I don't believe in teaching, I don't believe in training, I believe in facilitating. So after I discuss all these units with example, grammar, and all those things working out for you, towards the end, we have the practical session. I believe in this practical session. I always tell the students, I've told many times, I'll be telling again, there's no point in teaching in a theory class with the help of your technology and stuff like that, or even the blackboard on how to sing or how to swim and stuff like that. You have to be pushed into the water to teach you how to swim. Otherwise, you'll just be writing theories about how to swim, will not be able to swim at all. Same with talking. All of us would like to talk. All of us would like to be great orators. All of us would like to conduct very nice meetings or give a long speech, but we don't make an effort. And we have this very, I don't know, it's a very, very cliched usage, very, very cliched phrase where people say, I have stage fear. Without even understanding what stage fear is, they say, I have stage fear. And if you have to be a successful professional, you cannot afford to have that fear. And that fear is not there. We think we have, right? And you may say, not today, I'll do it later. Not now, later. You're already 16 to 18 years old. And if you again postpone, you'll be 20 years, 21, 22 years, and then you'll never come out. Then you feel it's too late to learn. So please participate in this practical session where you and I have a conversation. It could be a VIVA, it could be an interview, or you will speak and I listen, or I ask questions, you answer. You do it once, it may be a little difficult initially, but you will see the difference in your confidence level. And you really feel motivated and you start giving public speech. See, you must understand one thing. All of us don't become teachers. Earlier it was like, okay, teachers should know how to speak, or the advocate should know how to speak. Now the situation is not like that. Even if you're a doctor or an engineer, or even if a housewife or house husband or whatever you call, even then you will be in a situation in life where you'll have to address people, where you'll have to talk to people. We wouldn't know which way our lives would take us. So learn as many skills as possible, and speaking well is one very important skill which you should master. So at the end of the sessions, let us have some practical session where we practice what we discuss in the class. As 21st November, I have my CSEET online. This is, I'll just have this session to attend to. Give me a few minutes. I have shared your queries. It will be answered. This time there is no errors. There's no VIVA VOCE on the 21st is what I've been told. It'll be there in January. For 21st. Yeah. Anyway, I'll tell the Ekcel Academy to get in touch with all of you if you leave, your contact. Anything else? May I conclude? Yeah. Thank you very much for attending the session. Get in touch in case you have any queries. Till then, good luck, stay safe, God bless.